Alright guys, in this video I'll be giving a quick overview of the Evolution Power Tools Fury 5 10-inch table saw. I luckily won this in the competition, and big thank you to Evolution for sending it out to me, and a thank you to all of you who voted for me in that competition. Without you voting I wouldn't have been able to have this saw, so thank you very much for this. I hope you find the overview helpful, and if you've got any questions please leave it in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So if we have a quick look at the front of the machine, the on-off switch is underneath this safety case, which a viewer made me look a bit stupid, to be honest. I thought that you had to mess around with the pieces under here to try and get it open, but it's just as simple as lifting up on the red switch. So thank you for pointing that out to me. But underneath here you've got your start and your stop button, and of course your emergency stop, easy access to that. Then you've got your wheel that by turning this handle raises and lowers the blade, and then by loosening the pin up here you can change the angle of the blade all the way up to 45 degrees. Now on a lot of saws these pieces are too separate, whereas I actually like how it's incorporated into the one handle, and especially having the rubberized grips, and as well in this cold weather it's a lot nicer on the hand. You've got a much better grip rather than just the hard plastic, so that's a great feature. On the right hand side of the saw there's this nice little holder to keep your push stick. Also matching the colour scheme, vivid green push stick. So my other ones are black and I lose them very easily, so the vivid green will be easy to spot amongst all the sawdust and all the other mess in my workshop. But of course it's best to just keep it in its holder. On the back of the saw you've got the dust extraction port that you can hook up your shop vac or your dedicated dust extractor. Another really great feature on this saw is this green knob. If you remove the knob you can store your other table saw blades on here, or of course any other blades to any other machine. So you may have different blades for cross cutting and rip cutting, or maybe even the different diameter blades. They can all be stored here so you know where they are and you won't lose them. Very good feature. On the other side of the table saw there's this handy piece here that you can use to store the cable while you're not using it. I know in a lot of workshops the table saw may remain plugged in for a long period of time, but when you do need the cable out of the way, say for tripping hazards or anything like that, it's very handy to have this option. Something else that's very handy, on the side of the riving knife, it might be a bit hard to pick up on video but I'll put a picture on the screen to show you more closely. It's got a list of different dimensions to tell you about the blade. So for example, the width of the blade is 1.8mm and the diameter is 250mm. This can save a lot of time because when I'm setting up for cuts, and of course you have to take into account for the width of the blade, it's quite hard to actually remember what the thickness is. So at a glance you can just look, oh yeah, it's 1.8mm, and you haven't got to worry about measuring the teeth or anything like that. So that's a bit handy. The overall cutting capacity of the saw when at 90 degrees is 73mm, or that's 2 7/8 of an inch. It's really handy being able to pull out this knob because of course being able to turn it, things can always get in the way, so that makes it a lot easier. Just turn it to 45 degrees and then just lock it off. And when the blade's at 45 degrees the cut capacity is 54mm, or that's 2 1/8 of an inch. I think the biggest selling point for this saw, and indeed the blade itself, like every other Evolution tool, it's got the ability to cut different types of materials. So not only just wood, this saw can in fact cut 3mm of mild plate steel, and it can also cut 3mm of mild steel box section, which if you do a lot of metal work, that's always going to come in very handy to be able to use the one blade without having to revert to using other tools. And of course you've still got the precision what a table saw can give you versus some of the other methods of cutting metal. So that's a big plus for this. The fence on the table saw looks to be very well made, It's very sturdy, and the handle, like the lifting mechanism for the blade and the tilt, it's also got a rubberized handle, so it's a lot nicer on your hand grip. It's just simple, move it along, clamp it down in place, and that's not moving. Very good. On the right hand side of the fence, you'll find two knobs that you can loosen and this enables you to lengthen the overall length of the fence, or even swap the fence over to the right hand side. But what I like about it is that I can completely remove the fence itself, and I can use any homemade jigs that I might feel would come in handy to be attached to this. For example, I've got an idea that I'd like to make a fence that extends fully to the back to save when I'm cutting perhaps smaller pieces getting lost off the end. I could have a full length fence, but incorporating this system makes it a lot easier because I've already got the hardware I need to attach whatever fence design I come up with. The fence provided can be mounted in two different positions. The position that you would perhaps use most often, which is an upright position, or you can have it more positioned lower down like an L shape for cutting thinner pieces or whatever you might need the fence to be positioned like this. Something else that's very handy is how I've just showed you that you can have the fence in two different positions. The measuring tape along the side of the saw shows you the different measurements for the two different orientations, and that's both on the left hand side and on the right hand side, so you don't have to worry about trying to work out in your head the difference in measurement because of the different orientation of the fence. It's already all here done for you. To the right hand side of the blade you can cut up to 35 centimeters, and on the left hand side of the blade you can cut up to 32 centimeters. To gain access to the inside of the table for changing the blade or adjusting the height of the riving knife, for example, that's done by just removing two Phillips head screws, one at the front and one towards the rear. And then lifting up that centre section. And as you can see, you've now got access to changing the blade and adjusting the height of the riving knife. The table saw does of course come with a blade guard. Now, I wasn't sure how to talk about this section because I'm not planning on actually fitting the blade guard. I don't want to put out that that's an okay thing to do, and I don't advise that you do that yourself. But my personal reasons for not using it is just that I would prefer to be able to see the blade at all times and keep my hands and my fingers away from the blade rather than having it covered, stopping it. But that's just my personal opinion. So please take the time and think about it yourself, weigh up the risks and everything, take everything into account. Fit the guard, see how you feel with the guard, and just see how you get on. It's simple attaching it just to the back, simple thumb screw attachment, so it's easily put on and taken off. Another reason that I don't have it on is for making these videos. If the guard was on, then you wouldn't really be able to see what I was doing, and also for using it with different jigs. I'm planning on making a table saw sled and can't really use a sled with the blade guard, but like I say, it was awkward thinking about how to talk about this section because I don't want to advise something that isn't safe, so please take everything into account. The saw also comes with a mitre gauge which has got quite a large face on it, which is very handy for securing the pieces, but you can also use this clamp that comes with it that just sits in the back of the mitre gauge, and you can clamp down work pieces. So when it's in the table, you would just drop it into here, and then you can clamp down different pieces of wood for whatever the job requires. The mitre gauge incorporates the same feature as the fence in the way that it's got the two knobs that you can loosen to adjust the face, or even remove the face completely and attach your own custom made jigs. So that's very handy. The mitre gauge goes right the way from 45 degrees to the right to 45 degrees to the left. So if you're perhaps mitering picture frames or anything like that, that's perfect for those jobs. You can go further than those degrees, but it's not marked on the mitre gauge, so you would have to use a protractor or some other form of measuring the angle. But most jobs will be taken up from the 0 to 45 degree range anyway. So that's it then. That's the overview of the Evolution Power Tools Fury 5 10-inch table saw. I hope you found it helpful. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. Overall, my opinion of the saw, it's very solid, very well constructed. The base, very sturdy. Compared to the other table saw that I had, there was a lot of wobble in that table saw and the legs didn't sit quite flush. Whereas this one, even on my unlevel shed floor, it sits a lot better. I really like the rubberized handles of the grips opposed to the old hard plastic. It's a lot nicer on your hands, and especially when they're cold. And of course the blade being able to cut metal, plastics, wood, everything like that. So in the future, if I did get into any of that kind of work, working with metal or plastics and acrylics, I don't have to get any other tools. The table saw does all of that. So that's it really. Like I say, if you've got any questions, leave a comment. I'll answer them best as I can. And in the description, I'll leave a link to where you can buy the saw, but also a link to Evolution Power Tools website, where you can have a look through all the different products that they do and see if there's anything that catches your eye. I will be doing a review of the chop saw, so keep an eye out for that one. So until next time, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you'd like to leave a comment, share the video with your friends, or even subscribe to my channel, everything's a massive help. So thank you again for watching.